Hello students, welcome in today's lecture. We are discussing our topic from Bio 1, that is paper 1, and the biological classification is the name of our topic. Up to this we have discussed the various kingdoms from this topic, from kingdom Monera up to the kingdom Animalia. We have seen the characteristics of this kingdom, and in today's lecture we are going to discuss the 3 points, that is virus, virions and lichen. But the virus point we have already discussed in our previous lecture, and in that point we have seen that these viruses are not included in the 5 kingdom system of classification of the scientist R.H. Whittaker, because it is a cellular organism. Generally it is considered as a non-cellular organism. These viruses acts as a living as well as non-living entities or organism, because when it is infect the host cell, particularly bacteria, animal or the plant, it is called as a living agent, and when it is present outside the host, then it is called as the non-living. We have seen the contribution of the different scientists in discovery of these viruses. That is means by the scientist Forscher described the term virus, then Iranovsky, Bejerin, Stanley. These scientists are, we also seen that their contribution in the discovery of the viruses. We see that virus has a nucleic acid, and that nucleic acid is generally called as a genome, and the nucleic acid is surrounded by a protein coat that is called as a protein capsid. This nucleic acid is either DNA or the RNA. Most of the plant viruses has RNA as a genetic material. Bacterial viruses, that is called as a bacteriophage, has DNA as a genetic material, while some other viruses has either DNA or the RNA as a genetic material, but not both at a time is found in the virus. This genetic material, either DNA or the RNA, are either single-stranded or the double-stranded. Okay, now we have also seen that the protein coat which is present around the genome of the virus is called as a capsid. Protein coat present around the genome of the virus or around the nucleic acid of the virus is called as the capsid. So we have seen that capsid is nothing but the protein coat which is present around these viruses, and these capsids are made up of small units, and the small units are called as capsuleus. These small units are called as the capsuleus. Okay, so this is about the general information that we have seen about the virus in our previous lecture. We have also seen that these viruses are the obligate parasite. That means they cannot complete its life cycle without the host. So when host is available, it inserts into the host, it completes its life cycle, because we know that virus do not have any metabolic machinery, it do not have its own enzyme, and that's why when it infects the host cell, then and then only it use all the metabolic machinery of that host cell. Okay, but it do not have its own metabolic machinery. We have also seen that there are various types of diseases which are due to the virus in the human being as well as in the plant. In plant, the number of diseases we have seen that are given in the NCERT, that is the rolling or the curling of the leaves, there is the yellowing of the veins, clearing of the veins, stunted growth, dwarfness, mosaic pattern of the leaves. These are the various types of diseases we will find in the plant due to the virus. While in the animal, the viral diseases are number of their viral diseases are there. Some of diseases like the measles, then the rubella, then herpes. We have seen hanta fever, chikungunya, Ebola. These are the various types of diseases: smallpox, chickenpox, polio, rabies. These are also the viral diseases, common cold, influenza, which are due to the virus. But the more thing that you should know, which is not given in the NCERT about the virus, is that these viral diseases can be transmitted to the human being by various ways, by the saliva, they can be transmitted by the touch, they can be transmitted by the sexual contact, they can be transmitted by the contaminated needles. Because there are some diseases like the AIDS disease, which is due to HIV virus. AIDS disease, which is due to the HIV virus, is mainly transmitted through the sexual contact or the contaminated needles. Some of the viral diseases are also transmitted through the vectors. Vectors is nothing but in the disease malaria, in the plasmodium, we have seen that the mosquito acts as a vector for transmission of this plasmodium parasite into the human being. Like that, here some of the insects like the ticks and the mosquito, like the tick and the mosquito, are responsible for transmission of the viral diseases to the human being. We can also see that there are various types of the symptoms can be found in the human being when he got the viral infection, and those are nothing but the sore throat. मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला म्हणतो घशामध्ये खवखव होणे, then running nose, नाक गळणे, then there will be formation of a slightly fever, थोडंसं टेम्परेचर बॉडीचं वाढतं. देर इज अ लंप, व्हाईट लंप फॉर्मेशन ऑन द टॉन्सिल. टॉन्सिलवर पांढऱ्या शशा तुम्हाला स्पॉट झालेले पाय मिळतात. स्लाइटली इनक्रीज इन द लिम्फ नोड. लिम्फ नोड इज वन ऑफ द ऑर्गन which is related to immune system. There is a slightly enlargement of this lymph node. So these are some of the symptoms which are found in the viruses. But all these things, that is the symptoms or how it gets transmitted to the human being, is not given in NCERT. It is additional information which we here discuss that you should know. But one important thing from this virus content is that we have seen the two diagrams of the viruses, tobacco mosaic virus, TMV, and the second figure we have seen, that is the bacteriophage. Both these figures are very important for the theory point of view, and the other content which we have discussed is important for NEET point of view. So prepare very well this virus point for the MCQ point of view. And next to virus, the next point that we are going to discuss now is the lichen. The next point that we are going to discuss is the lichen, which is also not included in Five Kingdom System classification of the Whittaker. So next point is lichen. See students, virus, viroids and lichens. These are our 2 points. Here we are going to discuss now the lichen. And what is lichen? Lichen is not a single organism. Lichen is not a single organism. It is the association between the two organisms, and it is nothing but it is a symbiotic association of the algae and the fungi. So what is lichen? Lichen is symbiotic association of algae and fungi. It is symbiotic association of algae and fungi. That means lichen is not found in isolation. It is generally considered as a fungus, but it is always shows symbiotic association with other organisms. Generally, lichen is found in association with the algae, so it is symbiotic association of algae and fungi. Why it is called as symbiotic association? Because symbiotic term we have already discussed, but here again we will discuss that this symbiotic relationship means it is a relationship between two organisms where both organisms get benefit from each other. That means the fungi get benefit from the algae and algae get benefit from the fungi. So it is called as a symbiotic association. Okay, in this association, the algal component of the lichen, is called as phycobion. Algal component of the lichen is called as phycobion, and fungal component is called as the microbiome. Okay, so see here it is very important that lichen is association of the algae and fungi. The algal component of the fungi is called as, algal component of the lichen is called as phycobiome, and the fungal component of the lichen is called as the microbiome. So it is a question is asked for this point of view that what is the name for the algal component of the lichen and what is the name for the fungal component of the lichen. So microbiome and phycobiome. One trick is there that the study of the fungi is called as microbiology and the study of algae is called as a phycobiology. So according to it, the name is given as phycobiome, that means the algae, and the microbiome, that means the fungi. But here how they get associated with each other or how the symbiotic association is found in between them, that here we are discussing, that is this algal component. This algal component is called as the autotrophic and the fungal component is called as heterotrophic, because in our previous kingdom we have seen that algae has a different chlorophyll pigment due to which they can prepare its food. That's why they are photosynthetic. Okay, but the fungi do not have any type of pigment. They do not carry out photosynthesis. Hence, it is heterotrophic. So it is clear that is phycobiomes are the autotrophic and microbiomes are the heterotrophic. Now, these phycobiome and the microbiome, how they are associated with each other. That means this autotrophic, that means the algae prepare food. It prepare food for the fungi. So heterotrophic, we have seen that it is a fungi. This algae prepare food for the fungi. Okay, because fungi are heterotrophic, they cannot prepare food. So this fungi depends on this algae for its food preparation. And instead of that, these fungi absorb mineral and water. These fungi absorb mineral and water from this soil, and it is given to this algae for its food preparation. So this is called as a symbiotic association. Algae prepare food for the fungi, and instead of that, fungi absorb minerals and water from the soil and it get provided to the algae, and with the help of this minerals and water, algae can prepare its food. So it is called as the symbiotic association. So it is called as the symbiotic association. Okay, so this is about the autotrophic and the heterotrophic relationship of the algae and the fungi. But other than it, the important thing about lichen is that is actually given in the NCERT is the additional importance of this lichen, and that is the lichen acts as a good indicator of the pollution. Lichen acts as a good indicator of pollution. That means lichen acts as a good indicator of the pollution. That means this lichen cannot grow in a polluted area, but it always grow in a non-polluted area, in a clean environment. That means when you will find the lichen in the environment, then it is clear that that environment is clean, it is non-polluted. But in a polluted area, that means in the industrial area or where the vehicles are more, at that place the area get polluted, and in the industrial area at the vehicles where they are more, at that area is called as polluted area, and where the lichens cannot grow. But this, up to this, we have seen that how the lichen shows association with the symbiotic association of the algae and fungi, how it is a good indicator of pollution, because when it is present we call it as a environment is non-polluted, and when lichen is not found in the environment we call it as it is the polluted environment. But after that you should know some more important points of this lichen, and which is not here in NCERT, but is an interesting thing that some of the more points which is not asked for the NEET exam, but you should know, because number of students are curious about the more information of this lichen, and that's why we are discussing some additional points of this lichen which are not given in NCERT. It is just for your knowledge. Do not give more concentration on these points, because it is not asked for our exam. Okay, but if any one question is asked other than our syllabus of the NCERT, then definitely it will be asked on this information that we are now going to discuss. These lichens have the different pigments. Okay, lichen have different pigments like the plants, and that's why lichen can prepare its food. Okay, so first thing you should know that lichen have different types of pigment, and according to that pigment it has different type of color. Generally lichens are bright green in color, but sometimes it is also present in the olive gray form. Okay, but not only it is in the green or the gray form, other than it, lichens may be red, brown, blue, black. Number of colors are there in the lichen, because they have the different type of the colored pigment. According to the pigment, lichen has a different color. Okay, if we see the body of the lichen is called as the thallus. So thallus is nothing but the body of the lichen. Thalloid form means what? Thalloid form is like this. That means it is the body of the lichen which do not have the plant like root, stem and leaves, but it simply its body is like the thalloid. This lichen has pigment due to which they can prepare food. That's why we call it autotrophic. Then where this lichen can grow? In the environment where you will find this lichen can grow on the rock, lichen can grow on the soil, even lichen can grow on the snow, lichen even can grow on the body of the animals, lichen can be formed on the rock or wall, on the building. So number of things are there in the environment where this lichen can grow. Lichen can form on the rock, on the soil, on the snow, on the body of other animals. Even they are found on the other plants, on the tree trunk. Also this lichen can be observed. As just we have seen that it is a good indicator of pollution. That's why in non-polluted area you will not find the lichen. But when you see the lichen, then it is clear that that environment is very clean, very purified, very oxygen rich, because lichen is growing there. Okay, now the important thing is that apart from its structure, that is, this lichen has various importance in the life of the human being. And which are these importance? That is, the lichen are having in the life of the human being, because these lichens are useful to the human being in the various ways. And which are these ways? That is, lichens are important because they are used for various purposes. They are used for various purposes. They are used for making dye. They are used for making perfumes. These lichens can be used for making the traditional medicines, because it is seen that some anti-cancer agents are present in the lichen. It is used for the treatment of the various type of diseases like cancer, urine infection, typhoid, hypophobia, emphysema. There are various type of diseases which can be cured by this lichen, because it has various properties which can be used for the curing of the number of diseases. Okay, number of perfumes are there, soaps are there, paints are there, where the lichens can be used. For making various type of dyes, lichen can be used. Lichen can be used as a fodder, particularly for the animal like the reindeer. So there are some animals which generally use a lichen as a fodder. त्याला आपण मराठीमध्ये चारा म्हणतो, फूड म्हणून वापरलं जातं lichen. Then the next importance of this lichen is that this lichen is used as a food because it has some component like the carbohydrate, and due to which it has rich source of the food. In some states this lichen is used as a curry powder. करी पावडर म्हणजे आमटीमध्ये घालण्याची जी पावडर आहे त्याला म्हणायचं करी पावडर. दिस लायकेन कॅन ऑल्सो बी यूज ॲज अ फूड फॉर मेकिंग चॉकलेट्स, फॉर मेकिंग पेस्ट्रीज. लायकेन्स कॅन बी यूज. दिस लायकेन्स आर यूज ॲज अ स्पायसेस. आणि आपल्या इकडं चटणी आपली जी घरामध्ये तयार केली जाते खायची स्वतःला वापरणारी चटणी, त्या चटणीमध्ये लायकेन हा एक महत्त्वाचा मसाल्याचा पदार्थ म्हणून यूज केला जातो. त्याला मराठीमध्ये आपण धोंडफूल असं म्हणतो, दगडावर वाढणार आहे म्हणून. ओके, सो स्टुडंट्स हियर दिस इज द ॲडिशनल पॉईंट दॅट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, दॅट इज द इम्पॉर्टन्स ऑफ the lichen. And the liken's importance we are discussing that it is used for making dye, perfumes, medicine. It is used as a fodder, particularly some animals like the reindeer. It is used as a food, particularly as a curry powder because it has carbohydrate like content. Okay, so this is about the importance of the lichen. Lichen can also be used in the preparation of the litmus paper. So apart from this, one more importance of this lichen is called as it acts as a pioneer species. So next importance, and which is very useful for our environment, that is how this lichen acts as a pioneer species. It is important for the soil formation. So the next importance of this lichen is that this lichen acts as pioneer species. What is meant by pioneer species? Pioneer species means that species which develop first on that environment, that is called as the pioneer species. So pioneer species means the species or the organism which develops first in environment. Now see here how this lichen acts as a pioneer species and how it has important role in the formation of the soil. So see here the lichen, this lichen first on the barren areas, म्हणजेच काय तर ओसाड अशा जमिनीमध्ये तिथं खूप मोठमोठी दगडे आहेत, लार्ज रॉक्स आर देअर, नॉट अ अदर सिंगल लिव्हिंग ऑर्गॅनिझम आर देअर. कुठलंही नवीन तिथं कुठलंही झाड नाही, काही नाही, फक्त असे मोठमोठे दगडे आहेत, कुठलंही तिथं लिव्हिंग ऑर्गॅनिझम नाही आहे. इवन दो ॲनिमल इज नॉट देअर, प्लांट इज नॉट देअर, ओनली द लार्ज रॉक्स आर देअर. ऑन दॅट लार्ज रॉक द फर्स्ट स्पेसिस ऑफ द लायकेन ग्रो. त्या रॉकवर पहिल्यांदा ग्रो होतं लायकेन. As it grows first on the lichen, it is called as a pioneer species. But when we call it as a pioneer species, when there is a development of the vegetation. So what happened here on that particular rock, lichen grow. Okay, lichen secretes some of the acidic substances on that large rock. Due to which what happened, all the large rocks can get broken into the smaller particles. Rocks can be broken down into the smaller particles, and these smaller particles again broke down and form the soil. And from the soil, that process is called as the pedogenesis. That process is called as the pedogenesis because pedology is a branch of science which deals with the study of the soil, and pedogenesis, that means formation of the soil. So SIS is there at the last, so SIS indicate the formation. So these lichen first grow on the rock, it secrete acid on that large rock, due to which large rock can be broken down into small pieces. These small pieces again broken down into the soil, that is called as pedogenesis. When means soil will be there, soil formation will be there, some seeds will be grow there, which can be brought by some birds which are present there, which when pass through that air, that area, एखादा पक्षी त्या एरियामधून जात असताना त्या पक्षाच्या तोंडामधून एखादं बीज जे आपण सीड म्हणतोय ते जर त्या सॉइलवर पडलं तर त्या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला काय पाहायला मिळतं, other plants will be developed, and when one plant will be developed, in relation to that plant, number of other plants will be developed, and such a large vegetation will be formed there. But from that vegetation, the first organism that is grown there is nothing but the lichen. So this lichen is called as a pioneer species. It is useful for formation of the soil. This lichen from the soil, due to which along with lichen in that soil bryophyte develop, along with the bryophyte other plants will be developed, and there will be formation of a large green area that is called as a vegetation. But before that there is a barren area, not a single plant will be there, but all the plants will be formed only due to the role of this lichen. So lichen is called as a pioneer of vegetation. Okay, so this is about the extra information that here we have discussed about the lichen. But in NCERT only the 3 lines are given, and these lines are given, but the lichen is an association of algae and fungi. Algae is heterotrophic, fungi is heterotrophic. Symbiotic association means lichen prepare food for the fungi, and fungi absorb water and minerals from the soil and provide it to its partner, that is the algae. In NCERT, another point is given that there is a algal component. The name of algal component is phycobion, and the name of the fungal component is the mycobion. And this lichen acts as a good indicator of the pollution, because in non-polluted areas only they observe, in polluted area they cannot be observed. So this is about the lichen, and the next information that we have discussed is the additional point, but it is also important because there are very less chances to ask the question on this information, but it is very interesting to know that additional information that is lichen has various types of pigment, according to which there is a color of the lichen will be found. It may be blue in color, green in color, grey in color, black in color. This lichen can prepare its own food with the help of this pigment. Lichen has various importance in the industry for making perfumes, for making medicines, for making chocolate, pastries. It is also used for the food preparation like the curry powder. Lichen has medicinal properties. It is used for the curable of the various diseases, for formation of the dyes, for formation of the litmus paper. These lichen acts as a pioneer of the vegetation, first organism, and later on it forms the various type of the other vegetation. So this is about the lichen. Now the third point is about the viroids. So in NCERT the term is given, that is virus, viroids and lichen. From that we have seen that virus and the lichen. Now the third point is about the viroids. So what is meant by viroids? Next point is the one, that is viroids. And see here, in this viroids, the scientist, you should know the name of the scientist, T.O. Diner. T.O. Diner is the name of scientist who first discovered these viroids. Okay, T.O. Diner, or you should simply say that Diner is the name of scientist, because the name of scientists are very important. If the question is asked that who discovered the viroids, the answer is the Diner. Or in NEET exam, one column is for the scientist and another column is for the discovery. So you should know the Diner discovered these viroids. Okay. So what is about these viroids? These viroids are the smaller. These viroids are the smaller than the viruses. Okay. This is a very important thing. Then they are generally found in the plant. Okay, and see here in NCERT the term is given that it is first discovered by the diner. Second point is that they are smaller than the virus. Third point is that they are generally first found in the plant and they produce the disease in the plant that is called as potato. That is called as potato spindle tuber disease. Potato spindle tuber. Potato spindle tuber disease. Okay, in short, it is called as PST. Potato spindle tuber disease. It is a disease of the potato. It is due to these viroids. Okay. Another thing about the viroids is that these viroids has a genetic material which is called as RNA. So RNA acts as a genetic material in viroids. What is called a genetic material? Because you know that genetic material is nothing but the substances which can always pass from one generation to the another generation, which always pass from the parents to the offspring, that we call as a genetic material. So, as we have seen that in viruses, genetic material is either DNA or the RNA. But in these viroids, the genetic material is RNA, and this genetic material, that is RNA, is without the protein code. So this genetic material, that is RNA, is present without protein code. That means in the virus, we have seen that the genetic material is always surrounded by a protein code that we have given the name capsid. But here, any protein code is absent around the genetic material, and the genetic material which is present in the viroid, that we call as RNA, is of the low molecular weight. So there is always question asked that what is the difference between the virus and viroids? What is the difference between virus and viroids? Virus term is first coined by scientist Washer, and viroid term is first coined by scientist Diner. Second thing is that virus has a genetic material which is always surrounded by a protein code, and the name of that protein code we call it is a capsid. But here, the viroid has a genetic material RNA which is not surrounded by any protein code. So this is about the information which is given in the NCERT. So what is about the viroids term? Viroids is given by the term, is a term given by the scientist Diner. These viroids are nothing but this organism which are smaller than virus. It particularly causes the disease in the plant, and the name of that disease is called as the potato spindle tuber disease. These viruses have the genetic material in the form of RNA, and that genetic material is not surrounded by any protein code. So it is without any protein code, and the RNA which is of the genetic material of this viroid is of the low molecular weight. But other than this, some additional point of viroid is that, see here the term is given that viroids are generally called as a plant pathogen because it was first discovered by scientist Diner in the potato, where it caused the disease potato spindle tuber disease. Potato spindle tuber disease. That's why we call it as a PST. But see here, these viroids are now said that it also causes a disease, and the name of that disease is hepatitis B. See here, this is the additional information which is not given in NCERT, that is viroids, which are the smaller organism than the viruses, it causes one more disease, and the name of that disease is called as hepatitis D disease. This is the one important thing. Second important thing is that these viroids, even though they have the genetic material in the form of RNA, which is of the low molecular weight, the genetic material do not code for any protein. So second point is that genetic material do not code for any protein, because we have seen that transcription and translation method in all organisms, in prokaryotic and the eukaryotic. This is for the 12th standard. So you should know that genetic material in every living organism is responsible for formation of a particular type of protein molecules, or they form the particular code for the particular protein molecules. But here we see that they do not code for any protein, because we have seen that the protein code is generally absent in this around this genetic material RNA. So even though the genetic material RNA is present, do not code for any protein. But in other organisms, what happens? The genetic material always code for the protein molecule. That means genetic material, whether it is RNA or the DNA, they form the protein. In virus, what happens? The genetic material is either DNA or the RNA, but this genetic material form the protein molecule in the virus. But here, the genetic material, even though RNA is present, it do not form any type of the protein molecule. This is the additional information. So students, see here what is the additional information about the viroids. These viroids cause another disease that is called as hepatitis D. Viroids, even though has genetic material, it do not code for any protein. It do not code for any protein. So this is about the next important part, and that is related to these viroids. And the last additional part is given in our NCERT book, and it is about the prion. So next to the virus, viroids and lichen, one additional organism is there that we call as a prion, which is also not considered in 5 kingdom system of classification of the scientist Whittaker. So next point is prions. So what is prions? Prions are also the organisms. Prions are also the organisms which are smaller than viruses. Prions are the organisms which are smaller than viruses. Okay, these prions are, so first we will see what is prions. These are organisms. These are organisms smaller than the viruses. See here, because we are discussing first information about NCERT, so these are organisms smaller than viruses. This next point, that they do not have genetic material. They are made up of protein molecules. Made up of protein molecule. They cause neurological disease. And the disease caused by it is DSE. That means bovine, spongiform, encephalopathy. And the second disease is CGT, that means CR Jacob disease, which is also called as disease. So students, we are now discussing the last part of our NCERT book under the biological classification, and this is about the prion. Okay, so what is information given about prions? See students, one more important thing is that in the last year books of NCERT, this prion term is added. In all books of NCERT, prion term is not given there. So if you have the NCERT book of new edition, then and there only you will get the information about the prion. If you have old book of NCERT, then you will get only information up to the virus, viroids and lichen. But prion is another term is given in our NCERT book. It is additional information, and so here first we will see according to NCERT which terms are important for this prion. These are organisms which are generally smaller than the viruses. So these are organisms which are very smaller than the viruses. They do not have any genetic material. They do not have RNA as well as DNA as a genetic material. But instead of that, they have some protein molecule inside it. See here, we have seen that viruses have genetic material and the protein code. Viroid has genetic material but do not protein code. And prion has do not genetic material but they have the protein molecule. They have the protein component. Okay, so you have to keep in mind comparatively the virus, viroids and the prion. Next point is that they cause certain neurological diseases. How they are responsible for formation of the neurological diseases, that we will see in the next lecture. But according to NCERT, the point are written here on the board. So the neurological diseases mean diseases of the brain. In the brain there are neurons, nervous cells are there, and these neurons form the diseases in the neurons, and that is called as the neurological diseases. And the two names of the diseases are given here. That is, one disease is called as BSE. The full form is bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy. And the another one disease is called as CJD. The name of this disease is Jacob disease. CR Jacob disease. The name of this CGD full form is CR Jacob disease, which is generally found in human, and this bovine spongiform encephalopathy disease generally found in the cow. That's why the another name of this BSE disease is called as mad cow disease in cattle. Mad cow disease in cattle. So students, up to this we have seen the information is given to this prion, but more than it, you can easily understand the more information of this prion in the next lecture. But before that, what we have seen in today's lecture, the very short term, that is the some part of the previous lecture we have revised in this lecture about the virus. We have seen three new terms in this lecture: lichen, viroids and the prion. So you can understand very well the lichen. I think you understand the viroids and some part of the prion, which is not given in the NCERT, but you should know the additional part of the prion that we will discuss in the next lecture. So up to this, we have completed our part from the NCERT. This is the last part of the NCERT from the biological classification, and from next lecture we will discuss the new topic from the NCERT. So students, study it very well, understand the concept, and more information about this prion we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.